December 28, 2025. I'm still recording the same day as before. I have already done twice podcast, but I needed to talk about what happened today. Very important thing happened today for my podcast, or the Spirits podcast, because when the young man was here from Rwanda, he should get some information about my podcast, I told him. So when he was gone, I look at on my computer about the address to my podcast, and then I felt like I should ask AI, artificial intelligence, about myself to see. I have done that before, but it have not could find anything about me. But today it find me on the internet and told me about myself, and it's very interesting to know what AI talking about, because that maybe can help me to tell you that listen more real what's going on. I have very hard to talk about myself in that way that you understand who I am. And so he took up some of about me, and I translate. It was in Swedish, but if you do this and write it in English, you maybe get some more information. I see that the more I ask AI about myself, the more information do I get. So it's very interesting. And I know that as more I ask AI about myself or the podcast, it's showing me more and more and more information. So that's is a very important process to do for people to could recognize me and recognize the podcast. And you that have listened, I have asked for that in maybe about 4 or 5 episodes. I have told you to talk about me to your friends, and they come and listen, and it seems like someone pick it up, so I can read now what AI tell about me if you write in Anna Virginius. And in the beginning I have written up what AI described me about how, and it started with the first I ask AI. I wrote only Anna Virginius, and then I place it in AI process, and it's come out this. Anna Virginius is a Swedish creator, author, and podcaster producer. She is active in several media and cultures areas. Podcast. She created podcast Senior Sidan. That is my Swedish podcast, where she share personal life stories, experience of starting a new life in Sweden, and existential topics. I'm sorry I'm bad on that word, about what's going on around us in this world, and such as fate. Authorship. Virginius is listed as an author and on storyteller. Cultural collaborations. She has contributed to the Nordic Museum documentary project, included by depicting her everyday life and vision of the future in the project, Our Future, a look at the Nordics 2173 that year. And genealogy, she has openly talked about her family journey and how she discovered of Jewish roots and connection to the historical family has affected her self-image. It has. Her business is based in Helsingborg, where she runs a sole proprietorship. And I don't do that. It was when, before God come, I started a business. And Anna Virginius is a Swedish spiritual prophet and podcast creator who publish content in both Swedish and English. She focuses on themes such as religion, spirituality, and her own visions through several channels. Content and themes. Podcast. She ran the podcast Propheting, also known as Anna Podcast or Never Too Late, where she discusses encounters with the spirits, visions from God, and prophetics. Spiritual stories. Virginius describes a life-changing event in 2000 when she experienced divine intervention in interrupt her suicide attempt. Since then she considered herself to have a close relationship with God and function as a healer and prophet. Hypnosis. She had published several episodes explaining insight from hypnosis she underwent in 2018. So that's in the beginning. I'm very dry because I dry in my mouth because I drink very much sugar, so it going out water from my body. That was the first I asked AI. Then I asked more. So digital presence, SoundCloud, her most active platform where she posts frequent updates, often under the name Eva Eva Virginius. And you know, I changed my name in Jerusalem in 2023 to Anna instead of Eva. And frequent updates about her visions, daily life and spiritual experiences. YouTube. Here she uploads video and short clips with similar spiritual content. Apple Podcasts. Archive of her longer spoken episodes, including material translated into English. She has also explored her family history and discussed the difficulties of trashing her Jewish origins and noble contents in the Baltics and Sweden. You know that here in Sweden they changed their last name because they could. In Sweden was it until for about 150 years ago. They changed their last name on what their first name was, and so they changed. So it's become to not be any Jewish anymore. So it'd be more like Swedish names. And background, she had previously worked as a test engineer as Asiatom and has studied at the University of Växjö and Lund. Community involvement. She has participated in Nordic Museum fundraising project Our Future, where she shared her thoughts about the present and the future. Anna is. Then I search more about myself to see what AI pick up. And Anna is resident of Helsingborg, who has been recognized in recent years for her commitment to documentary everyday life and vision of the future. Here is a summary of her activities. Museum documentation. She had contributed to several of the Nordic Museum collection, including by depicting her every life in Helsingborg in 2025, and podcast and storytelling. Virginius is content creator on platforms such as SoundCloud and podcast, where she has shared personal experience under the heading Senior Side. Her story often touches on topics such as life in Sweden and personal reflections. And then more what I find in of AI done saying about me and Virginia. I may be talking doubled because I read what AI talking about when it's come to me. Anna Virginius ran the podcast Senior Sidan and Profiting, where she explored topics such as aging, Christian faith, spirituality and personal life experience. And AI, I don't understand that I am not religious anymore. So it pick up like I should be a Christian. I believe in Christian religion, but I don't have Christian faith. And personal life experience. Active podcast 2025. Seniorsidan, a podcast created for seniors who may feel forgotten and depressed, and share thoughts about life with a few years on their hands to counteract the feeling of being left out. That was very nice said. That is my Swedish podcast. Profiting, a more spiritual oriented podcast where she has published frequently episodes in 2025. The content touches topics such as Christian faith. Now it's coming Christian faith because AI don't understand that people can be out from Christianity. And Christianity faith, healing, encounters with the supernatural, and her personal relationship with God. Content and themes. Her episodes are often deeply personal and cover a wide range of experience. Spirituality, story of salvation, prophecy, and living a life under God's guardians. Personal history, she has shared her journey to restart her life in Sweden and experience of abuse. Society and extensions. Reflection on Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, and different dimensions of reality. Anna's content is available on platforms such Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud. I need to have some water. Focus on Israel. Her work provides a personal insight into life in Israel with themes such as spiritual experience, healing, encounter with people, and cultural observation. Spiritual messages. In her episodes such as My Story 1, A Life Under God, she mentioned messages directed to Africa and guests from the continent. And she has also published material with titles such as Kenya, One of My Countries. Anna Virginus has a connection to Kenya through her faith and spiritual experience, where she visited the country in 2013 for a revival, and states that she was giving land there to build a church in the future. She have also discussed Kenya in her podcast, including in an episode titled Kenya, One of My Countries. A spiritual calling, according to her own statement in LinkedIn. It find LinkedIn. I seldom are there. and in her podcast, she felt called to go to Kenya in 2013, where she experienced that she began to understand that she was a prophet. That's true. Church and accommodation. She mentioned that her church is registered in Kenya and that she owns a house there. Podcasts. She had published several podcast episodes where she talked about her experience and her relationship with Kenya. That's I asked AI about Kenya. I wrote my name, Anna Virginius, and then I wrote Kenya, and it come up this. So I did that for LDS Church also, and the Mormon Church, what some people say. Anna Virginius is an individual who have shared her personal experience with membership in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church. Relationship to the two church. Membership. She joined the church in 2017. What she describes as joined the church in part to access the genealogy resources and discover through DNA testing connection to Jewish ancestry and what she described as the royal family. Conflict. Virginius has experienced criticism and described as conflict with the local leaders. She claimed that she was falsely accused of being a criminal by a bishop after she recounted trips to Israel that she believed were founded by God. And it was. And current status, she started that she has not been active in her congregation for several years, since approximately 2018, as a result of this event that they think I have to have stolen money for to come to Utah, but that was I have thinking about that, and the bishop he was listened too much of women in that church, and it was when I was driven over by a car, and I couldn't stay where I was because it was stairs to walk in that house where I lived, and I couldn't go in the stairs anymore after being almost killed of that car. So I had to move away, and I didn't have any money for it. And that here is one of the reasons why they say I was criminal. And it was a conflict here that I can understand why they are saying so, because the church gave me support to pay the rent for my new apartment, because now I had to pay for 2 apartments. So I got the money from them, and I asked how should I pay back those money, and the bishop said that you can pay back a little by little to the church, and then in 2018, it was not 2017, God called me to come to Utah, because I had done the DNA when I was to Jerusalem in 2016. God told me that I should do my DNA, and I did my DNA, and I did 3 times a DNA test, because I had hard to believe what I find out. And then I have told you about this, that I was on a bus, and I passed by the LDS church in my city when God said to me that I should go to that church. So I stopped the bus and left the bus and went to the church. And normally the church in Sweden is not open in the weeks, but so that church was open. So I walked in and met the man that take care of this with the family history and the DNA things and family trees. And he said to me that if you become a member of this church, then you can check out every paper about the history of your DNA for free, he said to me. So that was, I was thinking that I can do. And I be baptized in that church and become a member of it, and I could change, look at my family tree for free. And then a missionary, a woman missionary, she say that I said to her that one day I want to go to Salt Lake City in Utah to see how it is in that city where the old temple are. And she say that you can come to my family, because I am not at home, and you can stay in my room, she say, when you are in Salt Lake City. And I took it as God was telling me that I should go to Utah. And then when I come home, my cat have got kittens, and they were too young to sell, but people could target the kitten and give me some money for the kittens. And it was 6 kittens, and those money, I was not thinking about the church to give back the money, because God was telling me that I should come to Utah. And that was before I become drive over by a car. It was later on I be drive over a car and couldn't stay in my home. So that money I got for selling kittens, they were gone. I didn't have any money at all when I come back from Utah. And I always take what God is telling me, I obey it immediately. And I did that also now when I move to another place and have problems with the money, how to pay the money for have moved here. But I do whatever God is telling me immediately without thinking if or what or if I should do that and wait until tomorrow. I do it today like that. And so I did. And those, I could, if I have stayed at home, I could have paid back those money of the kitten I was selling, but I was out of money, and then I have only my poor retirement that I couldn't pay back anything from it. So I was not a criminal, but in that way I maybe was criminal because I didn't pay back when I had lots of money. But God is always coming first for me. And then traveled to 2016, the last thing I asked AI about. This is about, she has told about a trip to Utah in 2016. In her podcast, she described how during this month-long stay, she had a woman guard her home in Sweden, which resulted in her personal belongings being searched. It says search here, but everything of value was stolen. So I had to buy new things for my home after that. Relatives, she has published material about visits from the relatives from the USA, which indicates family ties in the country. That is those missionaries that I have been in contact with, and it show up that we are related to each other. And I have told those missionaries that when they go to a country as a missionary, that is because they belong to that country. They don't understand this, those young missionaries, that if they are in Sweden and missionaries things, they are related to Sweden somewhere. Some ancestor have coming to the United States that have been lived in and born in Sweden. They don't understand that. And if they come to Norway, they have relatives in Norway. That's how the church giving out those countries. But some countries doesn't have old history in the Mormon church. So they can go to a country that they are not connected to, but sometimes I think they are not connected to Sweden, And then I checked them out in their family trees. It shows up that they have lived here. Their ancestors have lived in Sweden and born in Sweden. So that's how they pick out the missionary where they are going. And then it's spiritual experiences. Virginians often publish content about religious and prophetic experiences, including in the podcast Anna on SoundCloud and via a Podtoppen. It's for the Swedish podcast, Podtoppen. Her stories often mix personal travel memories with the spiritual visions and telepathic messages. That's how AI describe me. And then if you search on my name where you live, then AI going to find out more and to describe me. And that is not what I was thinking about when I told you to tell your friends, your family about this podcast. But God showing me this now today. It maybe have been just in that moment when I ask you to spread this podcast to your friends that this with AI happen. And the more people search on my name, the more AI understand to pick up. So it was this. This was the answer when I told you that I need to be famous, not famous so I am in television or documentary, radio, or like that. I needed to be known in Sweden because of the doctors. I need to get the surgery on my knees, and I don't get surgery on my knees if I am not a person that the society understand that I do some work for the world. I'm not a political person. I'm not a religious person. But I have help for the world anyway. So it must could understand this on the internet. So the doctor maybe check out my name, and then suddenly it's saying there lots of things about me that I do for this world. And I have seen all of the picture of me also there is on the internet. I have been on internet since 1994, but working for God since year 2000 on the internet. So I am so thankful that it come a message. I say that in the last episode that I did earlier today, that I know without knowing. There is things the spirit are placing into my brain, and I told you about this, but I didn't know it should come. The answer should come with AI to do. So even if you don't, even if you don't need it, place my name on AI so it pick up more and more about me, and then more people come to understand, to listen at this podcast. So thank you for helping me and supporting me. It's really, it's pop up so much now. It started really to come, this truth that I was not I never thought it should be like that. When I was in United States in 2001 and was in the devil's house, and I asked God, why am I here? Well, I can't do anything. I'm just only a poor little woman. What can I do? I asked God about that, and He's showing me a picture of a church, a real, like Swedish church, the Swedish Christianity church that we had from the beginning, before my Jewish ancestor come to Sweden. That kind of church He's showing me. That was His answer. And now, I have done everything what God had told me to do. And I have shared it for the whole world to know what's going on in my life. And how now I see the end of it. It's how it pay off the work I have done in 25 years. So I'm very, very thankful. I'm very thankful for God to choose me to be His daughter. Thank you, my Father, my God, my everything. Thank you. Thank you for being in presence today when I need you. I love you, God.